Williams?
Oh.
What have we here?
Oh, sir. Off duty. Your voice? Sir, not so loud. Please, thank you.
Why are you curled up on the floor?
Am I? Oh, my head. So heavy. Can't move.
Ah. Enjoy your evening?
I'll be back to work in 30. Ugh.
Is Ashley Williams a racist and an alien-hating xenophobe? Is she redeemable? Does she have character growth? Find out all that and more in this Law episode of Brock and Sindri.
And Ashley Williams is a human soldier who serves in the Systems Alliance as a gunnery chief in the 2nd Frontier Division based on Eden Prime, and then was later assigned to Commander Shepard's squad after the Geth attack on Eden Prime. She is a potential romance partner for a male Shepard.
Born on April 14th, 2158, on the colony world Sirona in the 61 Ursae Majoris system, Ashley Madeline Williams comes from a large family that includes a long line of Alliance soldiers. Following her family's tradition, Ashley enlisted in the Alliance Navy as a Marine after high school and was assigned to the recruit training depot in Macapá, Brazil. During training, Chief Williams was certified proficient with the standard issue M7 Lancer assault rifle and light to standard weight combat hardsuits. She also completed certification in zero-gravity combat aboard the Rakesh Sharma orbital platform on Earth, geosynchronous orbit. For hostile environment assault training, she was assigned to the Fort Charles Upham on Titan, one of Saturn's moons, where she was awarded a commendation for her bold assault technique in a field exercise simulating an attack on Turian Point defense emplacements.
Drill Instructor Gunnery Chief Ellison noted her steadfast endurance and aggressive instincts and promoted her to squad leader. Subsequently, Ashley is promoted again to platoon guide after her effective tutelage of the less skilled members of her training unit. Her platoon had logged unanimous positive feedback on her leadership in a recent fitness review cycle, and fellow soldier Private Nirali Bhatia praised her focus on team-building exercises and tough but fair discipline.
Despite glowing performance reviews, Ashley is denied further opportunities for advancement. Having served on numerous groundside garrisons, she has repeatedly requested a transfer to a shipboard posting, but each request has been denied, without explicit reasons. Ashley's military vocational code is B4, and her blood type is B positive. She had received genetic enhancements including an in utero vision correction, maternal predisposition for nearsightedness, and the Class B Alliance Infantry upgrade package.
So 2 days before the attack on Eden Prime, Ashley was at a bar on downtime with her fellow soldiers from Unit 212. Sergeant Donkey kept trying to seduce her to no avail, and Ash even joked about hooking up with Penny Loafer, a girl, instead. The horsing around was interrupted with the arrival of the unit's commanding officer, who presented the soldiers with a recon mission. A beacon was unearthed and the unit was assigned to defend it. Despite being a nominal squad leader, Ashley wasn't given command on the mission, with leadership duties being relegated to Sergeant Donkey. Ashley correctly interpreted the commanding officer's prejudice regarding her Williams heritage and grudgingly accepted the situation.
Unlike the rest of the squads in Unit 212, Ashley's 6-man team Dog Squad was ordered to go to the mission site on foot. During the long trek, Sergeant Donkey expressed his belief that Ashley should be the one leading the mission, praising her ability to keep a level head under pressure. Ashley observed that he was still trying to sleep with her, and Donkey didn't deny the assertion, but that didn't mean he wasn't being earnest. Ashley held out hope that maybe she and Donkey will get lucky one day, and continued the march ahead.
On the eve of the attack, Dog Squad discovered fellow 212 Group Bravo Squad dead in a ditch. Ash was ordered to pair up with Bates to investigate and noticed that the dead soldiers didn't even have the chance to draw their weapons. Bates was distraught at the sight of a dead soldier he once knew, and Ash put a hand on his shoulder to console him.
Intercepted transmissions later indicated that the other squads, Abel and Charlie, were under attack from an unknown enemy. Because of the situation change and the need for a real leader, Sergeant Donkey relinquished leadership of Dog Squad to Ashley. Ashley stirred up the group's fighting spirit and encouraged them to double time it to the dig site.
Dog Squad surveyed the dig site at dawn and surmised the enemy attackers were Geth. They were unfortunately spotted by recon drones and fired upon. Ashley attempted to execute the squad's battle plan, and she sent Rasputin to an elevated position, gave Sergeant Donkey orders to create a diversion, and tried to set up an ambush herself.
Their flanking maneuver brought down some Geth, but the squad began to take heavy casualties. Penny Loafer lay dead, and Ashley ordered Jenna to transmit a general warning, but the comm specialist was shot before long. Rasputin and Donkey went down before getting the chance to heed Ashley's retreat calls. Bates disappeared and didn't respond to Ashley's hails, leaving her alone to fend off the rest of the Geth.
Ashley would not take defeat lying down and successfully fought her way out of her surrounded position. She played cat and mouse with the Geth until they found her again, and just when she was sure she was dead, she got lucky. Commander Shepard and Kaidan Malenko arrived to her rescue.
Ashley was approached on the Citadel by an Alliance psychologist named Captain Channing a day after the Geth attack, who coaxed her to talk about the events on Eden Prime. Initially wary of the psychologist, Ashley warmed up a little when the introspective moment allowed her to think about what Donkey once said: "Luck is for the lonely."
Ashley's interested in Shepard's background. She's amazed that she and Shepard went to the same training facility and even reminisces about getting yelled at by the same gunnery chief, Ellison. Ashley enjoys talking about her family. Her father was an enlisted man, and she is the oldest of 4 daughters in the family, followed by Abby, Lynn, and Sarah. Due to her father's frequent deployment, she helped to raise her sisters, and the 4 siblings grew close to one another as a result. Despite his hard work and dedication, Ashley's father never rose above the rank of serviceman 3rd class, a fact that she's deeply bitter about.
Later, it was revealed that her grandfather was General Williams, who surrendered the garrison at Shanxi to the Turians during the First Contact War, thus becoming the first human to surrender to an alien force. Her superiors' prejudice against her family meant she had mostly been stuck on groundside garrison posts, preventing her from gaining actual combat experience, despite her exemplary technical scores. Possibly due to the discrimination she experienced, Ashley asserts that a Williams has to be better than the best to make up for Shanxi, making her dedicated to her job, but also prickly, blunt, and quick-tempered.
She's got strong religious beliefs, but she is also hesitant to discuss it with Shepard because she's concerned of the uneasiness it might cause in others. Her faith is strengthened by her work in space. How can you look out at this galaxy and not believe in something? And she believes that her father, who had passed away, is now with God. She still remembers his favourite poem, Tennyson's Ulysses, by heart. When Shepard jokingly states that Ashley is the last person a commander would expect to hear quoting classical literature, Ashley indignantly replies that just because she can make headshots from 100 meters doesn't mean she can't like sensitive stuff, though she does request Shepard to not spread that around.
Though she is tough and aggressive, Ashley does have a compassionate side. If she met Samesh Bhatia on the Citadel, she is very respectful and sympathetic, taking the time to say how much his late wife Nirali loved him.
Due to her family history, groundside assignments, and lack of experience in working with other races, she does tend to be distrustful of aliens. She doesn't trust that the Citadel Council and believes that humanity can't rely on them staying allies. She questions the wisdom of allowing aliens to wander around the Normandy freely and dismisses the Prothean cipher as unnecessary mumbo-jumbo, believing the commander has suffered needlessly to get it. However, Ashley does acknowledge that Shepard is in command and the presence of aliens on the Normandy is not up to her.
That being said, Ashley isn't xenophobic. She dismisses terra firma as a group of xenophobic jackals, who have replaced the original noble aims of the party with anti-alien paranoia. At Vermeer, if Erdnot Rex is with the Normandy crew and angry with Shepard due to current events, even though Ashley won't hesitate to shoot the Krogan, she happily volunteers to go with Captain Kerahi's team and has no problem with the Solarians respecting their tenacity and their skill.
At the operation on Vermeer, Shepard can choose to save Ashley's life, but at the cost of losing Kaidan. During the debriefing, Ashley will then get angry at Shepard's decision, saying Kaidan was a superior officer and she should have been the one left behind. However, Shepard responds by asking how far Ashley is willing to go in order to clear her grandfather's name. Ashley does have qualms about facing the Reapers, claiming she's infantry and will have no place in the upcoming battles, but Shepard assures her that she's needed. Eventually, Ashley comes to her senses and agrees to work with the Normandy's multi-species crew to stop Saren, even becoming good friends with Liara, Tali, and Garrus or Rex if he is still around.
So in terms of romance, a male Shepard and Ashley can build a rapport after Eden Prime that gradually grows into a romantic interest. Though Ashley is receptive, she's also not shy about needing Shepard on his attraction to a soldier under his command. needling Shepard on his attraction. Ashley claims she isn't one for words, but her interest in poetry helps her to say what she feels.
When the Normandy is grounded by the council, Ashley persuades Shepard to not give in, and they nearly share a kiss before they are interrupted by Joker. And en route to Ilos, Ashley comes to Shepard's quarters, saying that after a long career of being sidelined by the Alliance, Shepard helps her to feel good enough, and the two spend the night together. Ashley continues to tease Shepard. She claims to have something important to tell him. If he wants to hear it, he'll have to survive Ilos and come back to her first.
So now on to the contents of Mass Effect 2. And provided she did not die on Vermeer, Williams continues to serve under Shepard aboard the SSV Normandy. During a routine patrol, the ship came under attack from a vessel belonging to the enigmatic Collectors, and Shepard ordered her to evacuate with the rest of the crew. Though she and the majority of the crew managed to escape, the ship was subsequently destroyed, with Shepard killed after being blown into space, a fact that shattered Williams. She remained in the service of the Systems Alliance for the next 2 years and was eventually promoted to the rank of Operations Chief, all the while attempting to finally move on with her life.
However, after a string of Alliance colonies had been abducted, it was believed that Cerberus was involved in these actions. Williams was even informed of reports indicating that Shepard was alive and working for Cerberus. So she was dispatched to the Horizon colony in order to update its defences to prepare it for the expected Cerberus assault. However, that proved not to be the case, as the planet suffered an onslaught from the Collectors, while the defence grid was still non-operational. During the assault, Ashley is attacked and paralysed by a Seeker swarm, but is found after the Collectors leave Horizon. Though she is glad to be reunited with Shepard, she is not very fond of the idea of Shepard working for Cerberus, feeling the commander may feel indebted to the pro-human organisation for being resurrected. She then leaves and tells Shepard to be careful. If Garrus is with Shepard on this mission, Ashley will also be surprised that Garrus is working with Cerberus, and Garrus will attempt to reason with Ashley, claiming her feelings towards Cerberus are blinding her to see the truth behind the attacks, which once again goes to prove the fact that she's unwilling to work with a pro-human organisation, making her non-xenophobic.
Yeah, as we said, it's fully justified, some of her beliefs. So in this case, she even thinks that Cerberus is like too xenophobic to be working with, and she's upset about it. So people who go on and on about Ashley being sort of a one-note character, they really haven't played the games.
So there's no way, even if you romance her in the first game, there's no way to really have romantic scenes with her in this one, just from a few moments, like I think an email or a message at some point during the game to say, just stay alive out there, Skipper, I can't lose you a second time. And then Shepard looking at pictures of hers, basically. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, we'll just skim through this now because everyone probably knows by this point. She does come back as a potential squad mate at certain times during Mass Effect 3, so right from pretty much the beginning. Then you lose her for a while as she goes on to become the second human Spectre, depending on how things go, and you can, after the council sort of coup, the Udina's coup, you can actually recruit her onto the squad again. Obviously, she spent time in hospital following being attacked by robot Edie. Before it was Edie, it was Dr. Eva. And there's some quite nice moments in there, but nothing like crazy. But by this point, I think it's pretty established, if she's protecting the council, that she's like any potential xenophobia that was in her before is well and truly gone by now.
Yeah, 100%. Like at this, during especially in Mass Effect 3, her sort of character arc over the few games has definitely come to the point where it's like, it's pretty clear if she's enlisted as the second human Spectre, sort of following Shepard's footsteps a little bit, that she's not xenophobic, because the Spectre's primary point of call is the Council, which is obviously a multi-species organization. So it's just, it really does confuse me when people sort of boil down Ashley's character to this one-note xenophobic, like religious person, when it's really not like that at all. And she's definitely a lot more interesting than people give her credit for in this regard. Yeah.
So, like, we can talk about various different options that you can have from her in Mass Effect 3 versus, through various different dialogue choices or missions, whether she's present, etc., etc. But there's a lot to go through, and I just suggest you guys play around with it. Needless to say, she can be romanced again in Mass Effect 3, particularly with the kind of Citadel DLC. And then we'll I'll flip through probably most of those, but just to say, and just to kind of summarize, that in Mass Effect 3, she's completely like this come around as a character. So some people have complained that she's become even more sexualized, but I would actually say she was from the very get-go. It was just she was given a slightly different role from the beginning, but she was, obviously they put a bit of extra, say, makeup on her, but I think that's more graphics capability by this point. I actually think they tried to do that in the first one. And the hairstyle was a bit different, but that doesn't make her sexualized like she already was, if we be completely honest. So the real difference is that she cares more about everyone involved on the squad, including and very much not limited to the aliens as well. So when bad things happen or tough things happen during the game, she does express sympathy and empathy for basically everyone, including like Liara if you do the Thessia mission later on and all the rest of it. So I would say that by Mass Effect 3, even if you think she started out a little bit racist, a little bit xenophobic, I would say that she's had a redeeming by the third one.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, like, it's just completely like the Council being her direct superiors as a Spectre. It just goes to show, like, having worked with Shepard throughout the 3 games, and coming to sort of become friends with some of the other crew members that Shepard recruited, like, as we said, Liara, like Rex if he's present, Tali even, and Garrus obviously. All of those characters have obviously sort of, even if she, as you said, even if she did start off xenophobic, she's definitely by the end completely changed, as she's working for the Council, which is pretty much the highest you can go working for aliens.
Exactly. Alright, so let's do a bit of trivia. So she's voiced by Kimberly Brooks, who interestingly enough is African American as opposed to white like Ashley is in game. And Kimberly Brooks also voiced the character Linnea in Dragon Age Origins, which is also obviously by BioWare. And according to the final hours of Mass Effect 3, Ashley was originally going to be voiced by E.G. Daly. The part was recast when developers just didn't quite feel the romantic chemistry they were aiming for with the character.
Ashley is one of the poster characters for Mass Effect and usually appears on the promotional art along with Garrus. The two of them are also seen accompanying Shepard in most of the demo footage, including the mission on Calliston, where Ash can be seen arguing with Garrus. When he says they can't risk the mission to save a group of human miners trapped by the Geth attack, Ashley claims that if they were Turian miners, he'd want to help them out.
She also shares the same name as Bruce Campbell's character Ashley Ash Williams in the Evil Dead series of movies. And if Ashley is in the team on Vermeer, her conversation response includes a reference to shooting things with her boomstick, which is obviously a quote from those movies too.
Ashley was originally to recite Robert Heinlein's Cool Green Hills of Earth, but the rights for his works are rather complicated, and when time ran out to acquire permission, it was replaced with Tennyson's Ulysses, which is in the public domain. The second and third stanzas were used when she discussed her father, and the fourth and final on the way to Ilos.
Her middle name, Madeline, is another reference to Tennyson from her poetry-loving father.
On the PS3 version of Mass Effect 2, if Ashley died on Vermeer, her picture may appear in Shepard's cabin, even if she was not chosen as the canon love interest in the interactive in-game comic, which may be a possible glitch caused by the game, but I think maybe it's just sort of like a in-memory thing rather than a romantic thing.
The James referred to in Ashley's email is actually secretly a BioWare technical designer who transferred to the Austin studio the day the piece was written.
Gunny Ellison and his predilection for using elaborate words are a veiled reference to author Harlan Ellison.
As part of a workaround for a programming issue, Jennifer Hale voiced all of the lines for the Ashley romance in Mass Effect, even though the romance was intended to be exclusive to her male Shepard. So it is possible for a female Shepard to have a romance with Ashley through the use of save edits, although some of the dialogue options will be missing, and Ashley's dialogue will occasionally refer to Shepard as male. So if you really wanted to have a lesbian relationship with Ashley in the first one, and you're that desperate to do that, you can.
Yeah, it's there, I guess. On December 14th, 2011, a sound file was released in which Kimberly Brooks voices Ashley's apology email to Shepard in Mass Effect 2 after the two meet on Horizon. Like Kaiden's letter, it was released on YouTube by fans, so you can find it if you want.
Along with Garrus and Shepard, Ashley is one of the first 3 characters to have an action figure made in her image by Square Enix's PlayArts Kai. The figures were released in September 2012. The prototypes can be seen on Mass Effect's Facebook page, and they look really cool.
When meeting with Ashley for drinks at the bar at Silver Sun Strip, a Batarian and a Vulture will confront Shepard and Ashley, stating that they don't like Alliance types. This may be a reference to a scene in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, where Ponda Baba and Evazan pick a fight with Luke Skywalker in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Oh yeah. And obviously, as with all the squad members, Ashley does have unique dialogue that can be heard at various locations during missions or assignments, or if a specific squad member is in a selected team. And there are some really cool ones. Like there's actually some really good banter she has with Rex in the first game on in the Citadel elevators and stuff.
The Citadel elevators, where all the best dialogue comes out.
just check out like some of the, like maybe I'll try and find links in the description as well to some of the videos where they just have a chat. Like it's genuinely like, I think up there with one of the most legendary banters that the two of them have. Seriously.
Yeah. It's
so good. That's really it for trivia. So just to kind of sandwich this video with the points, I hope that now you can see that she's not just this write-off kind of, racist or homophobic character. But in fact, actually, the one that was designed to be the more sort of homophobic. Jesus, I've got the disease now. The one that was designed to be the most xenophobic or racist one is actually Navigator Presley. He's the one that has the bigger issue, and he's the one that sort of dies, and you find that like a sort of data pad where he says that he was wrong, but he'd already dead, so it's kind of too late. Whereas Ashley was always designed to have a bit of a character arc. She was designed to be a bit of an insert in the game for what we might have, what we might be, and the fact that there's always going to be those kinds of issues, and it's normal. Like if you put yourself in her shoes, you would be lucky if you even had half of the views that she had. Like, you think about the fact that her grandfather is the one that surrendered to them, like with the first contact, okay, and that you didn't. Remember, we're in a galaxy where humans, generally speaking, are still newcomers. We still don't know everything there is to know, and generally speaking, we are fearful of what we don't know. And then you realize that, like, her first interactions with them came after being shot at by some of them, and then like thrust into it, and it takes time for some people to sort of grow into that. And I would never say she was completely, like, there was a couple of lines that they put in, like in the when you've got Liara and Ashley fighting for each other, like obviously there's one line that's pretty bad. So we get that, but one line doesn't make a character, and even if it does, what is character development? I mean, I just think there's a lot of people in the world now that have no idea about what character development means. That someone could start with weaknesses and then grow on them and become strengths, right?
Well, yeah, it makes Ashley a substantially more in-depth and enjoyable character than a lot of others. I won't name names, but I think me and you both have somebody similar to Ashley who we'd maybe list as one that just is a lot.
Well, all right, you don't want to name names, but I'll name it, like Caden.
Yeah, Caden is exactly who I was thinking of.
I've only ever done one playthrough where I've decided to save him, and to be honest, it was boring. It was crap. Like, there was no benefit. I didn't see him having much real development.
There's not really any growth. Yeah.
No, and I actually think that in a lot of ways he's actually meant to be the one that kills off. Like
100%.
There's a lot of things, for canon wise. Like obviously there's choice in Mass Effect, but you think that in the first game you have 3 options romantically: either no romance whatsoever, Liara, or Ashley. Okay, that's it. Those are the 3 choices, which means that potentially Ashley is a canon choice, right? And I think in a lot of ways she kind of is for the first game, for a lot of people, because it works in a lot of ways. Liara does in their own ways too, and we'll do a video on Liara. But the point is that she's a core character. She's a founding character of the game. She's one of the only few that appear in all 3 of the games. And I think that she starts as Garrus. Garrus starts as a frustrated CSEC officer that wants to basically be able to bend the rules and kill at a whim the bad guys, right? Which is obviously a very dangerous way to be, and it takes for a Paragon Shepherd to sort of convince Garrus that maybe that's not always the right way to go. And you mentor him. And so what's wrong with Ashley needing a bit of mentoring on a different topic? or Tally needing a bit of mentoring on a different topic. Like, none of them start off perfect, you know?
And again, I think a lot of stories and a lot of people who consume these stories these days forget that, as you say, character development is key. It doesn't really matter if a character starts off as somewhat xenophobic or somewhat unlikable, because it's all about that growth, isn't it? Like, what's more interesting, a character that starts off boring and ends boring, or a character that starts off bad and then ends up good? You know, it makes a lot more sense that there's some development there and some believability.
And it just proves what sort of a world we're living in, where like you have someone like Rex who, you know, just kills whenever it's fun, basically. Like, the people that deserve to die, he'll just kill them, including his own species, right? Like, and people, no one's questioning how good Rex is as a character, because he's a damn good character, you know. But you know, this is a character that actually just kills people, whereas Ashley is a character that just happens to have a few, you know, trust issues when it comes to aliens.
Yeah. For good reason too. Again, the backstory really, like,
both
she's like
have
that.
good reasons,
It's
but
not
you know, you're talking
unjustified.
about someone that kills people, and you're talking about people that someone that just doesn't trust.
Yeah,
you know, like on a scale of like bad, you know, like everyone's trying to write off Ashley. Anyway, the point is that she's not really she's more xenophobic than racist. Like, racist is probably too strong. Xenophobic is maybe more of an appropriate word, but even then, there's reasons behind it, and she has a growth throughout the, you know, the game and games, and that makes her an interesting character in my book, whether you romance her or not. And I think she's a really good character, and it actually annoys me how much people like to. I think it's almost become a virtual signaling point in comments, by the way, of, well, yeah, no, not Ashley. Like, of course, I say Kate. All right, piss off, mate. Like, go on, well done. Have fun with that. And we'll do a video on Caden too, but obviously we've already suggested that he's not one of our favourite characters, but we will do it because, you know, he's still a good character and he's still a Mass Effect character.
And there's still some interesting lore to touch on with Caden, like the biotic implants and stuff like that, which we'll get into on his video. But for now, this has been our video on Ashley Williams. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope
Ashley on Vermeer.
Yeah. And I really hope, if any of you guys came into this with doubts about her character, I hope we've sort of rectified that a little bit and helped to make people like this character a bit more again, because definitely it just kind of sucks seeing people bash this character when I don't think it's really deserved.
We'll see you in the next one, guys.
Bye.
Time to get back out there, huh?
At least we threw one hell of a party. Probably the last one.
No, you'll find a way to beat the odds. And when you do, Hero Man, I'll be waiting. I wouldn't have missed any of it for the world. It's been a damn good ride.